Welcome to the first installment of the Coaches Show. A little late in the season, but nonetheless, we got the Coaches Corner going here. Rob Strauss, head coach Dan Harris, Henry Kern from the sports broadcasting class. Coach, welcome. We used to do this a long time ago. We brought it back, but now instead of doing audio, now we're doing some video.
Absolutely, excited to be back.
Thanks for taking the time out to join us. What we want to do here on the Coaches Show is more or less, break down the game that was and preview the upcoming game. And in this case, we're going to break down the Seneca game last Friday night and get a sneak peek into what to expect from Gloucester. But Coach, first, a tough loss, 41-24. You guys found yourselves down 28-0 early on. Give us a little bit of what, how you guys came out of that game and what was the big part of the turnaround in that second half.
Well, before the turnaround, I think it was really what was frustrating was they gave us a gift with the fumble, and we were in scoring range, and we have 3 penalties. So that really set us back. And then I think change of possession, we give the ball back to them, and then they drive down the field. That's a big swing. We were, just getting the kids' minds right, coming down the second half, just focused, doing their job, and you kind of we're figuring things out. We have a lot of new varsity players, so just figuring it out, and it takes them a little while. So unfortunately, we were down, and then we start coming back when we feel the other team out. So we got to learn not to do that.
Yeah, and you guys got into a 28-0 hole early on, and we got a couple highlight packages of some of the big plays that they ripped off before. I mean, you could blink, and all of a sudden we were down. And you look at some of the plays here, a quick 5-yard burst to open the scoring here, and then later on. The big plays have been kind of the Achilles heel of this team this year. And here's one here. I mean, this is kind of looked like a busted play. I don't know if that was designed option, but nonetheless.
It's just, if you could see, it's just kids out of position. We have new varsity guys. Just when things are new and, you miss the whole summer, there's just little things we're doing wrong, and they're compounded mistake after mistake, and a disciplined team like that makes you pay.
Did you expect that going into the game at all, knowing that they had their 2 guys, their quarterback and their running back, ironically named Clank?
Yeah.
And really kind of lit us up there a little bit, and Clank had himself a real good night.
Yeah, we knew those 2 guys were their main 2 guys that touched the ball the most, especially, I don't know their names, number 2, I don't know. He's a good player. He's a big, strong kid, and works. He looks like he works his butt off when he's on the field. So, we knew he would be a difference maker for them.
And here you can see the pass, Martin too, his tight end. There.
Yeah, I mean we have opportunities to make plays and we don't make them. So I'm not really worried about the other team. I'm worried about us.
Now that made it a 28-0 game at that point. What was the feeling on the sideline? Not only from a coach's standpoint, but from the student athletes side of things, were they down? What was it like on the sideline?
I think there's frustration. We don't know how to win, so we're still learning all that. So it's really just a frustration thing and not understanding what you actually have to do to be successful, and we don't know that yet.
Yeah. And so you guys go into the locker room down 28-0, and we're thinking in the booth like, oh my goodness, this is probably a worst case scenario here at home. But you come out in the second half, completely different team. Sterling starts to get some points, on the board, and they start getting a little bit of momentum.
Yeah, I think it's, you go in the half, you make a couple adjustments, and you tell them what we did to put ourselves in that situation, and then the light bulb goes off, and you start to point things out, and the kids start to recognize different things that you're telling them. And opportunities to make plays. And I think we're doing some of those things, but we can't do that. We're not doing them early on in games. That's really what's hurting us.
Talk about Christian Valeriano here. What a great connection, wide open here, obviously. Busted defense on Seneca's part, but 3 touchdowns on the night for Christian Valeriano. What a great find. And tell us a little bit more about him and the development of him over the years.
Well, he transferred in last year, so it was his first year with us. He's been good. He's slowly working his way into the program, and him and Jeremiah have a good connection, so they're good friends. So just something to build off of, between those 2.
What a great, again, just able to create that. Almost, if this field was about 10 yards longer, don't know if he would have gotten into the end zone here.
Yeah.
But 3 touchdowns on the night, any way you slice it, that's a good night. And hopefully you picked him up on your fantasy team.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit more about Jeremiah from the quarterback position. Doing a great job, second year under center for us, and a little bit about the development of him as a quarterback.
Well, you could see just having the varsity experience as a sophomore. Last quarterback that we had that did that was CJ. Barrett, and, just maturity and experience. You see him develop. He's probably our hardest working athlete on the football team. He's one of the first guys there, doing everything the coaches ask, echoing that. So he's really the center of the team right now.
And he's also your punter as well. He actually got hurt a little bit in that game. We were all worried up in the booth. What exactly happened to him out there?
He got stepped on in the where it hurts most.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, that's never fun. Never a good time. Good to see that he came back. We knew he wouldn't miss too much time out there, but nonetheless, good to see him back and out there playing. Had a really, really good night. What was your message to the team after the game? Obviously, didn't come out the way you wanted to, 41-24 loss, but a good showing out there.
Basically, just how we have to put everything together. You could see early in the game, we have an opportunity. We get the ball. They fumbled the ball the first play, and we didn't capitalize on it. And that was something we talked about. And I think that the kids are starting to buy in. They're starting to understand. They're starting to listen more. And again, you can always say it's too late for that, but it's something we have to build off of. And we've been telling them when we get the ball inside of 30, we got to punch it in. We got the mentality. You got to be scored. I don't care how tired how tired you are, how your body feels. We have to score, and we haven't gotten there yet.
The other side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, Sterling, gave Seneca some fits in that second half a little bit, and made some key stops here on defense. And we always talk about the offensive side of the ball. Who's stepping up defensively for Sterling? We actually have some young guys. We have three freshmen actually. That's something I've said. Xavier Miller, Nemo, his name's Nehemiah Butler, and Tavon. They're all stepping up at linebacker, outside linebacker spots. We have some young guys. We have new guys stepping up. And that's really been the issue. And again, the situation. We didn't have a full summer. We didn't get all the work that we usually do. So they're learning as we go. And it's almost like you feel like there's scrimmages and we're making mistakes, but it's really showing up on the scoreboard. So it's hurting you. And there's things we can't really correct as we go. We have to do it now. They have to fix these things. But there's guys stepping up. Losing Trey really hurt us. So we're shuffling guys. There's guys in new positions. And you're reteaching every week. And, in a high school week, you only have one full defensive practice. So, it hurts you when, in a season when you're in that situation. But those young guys are stepping up. We have some guys, Jameer Richardson stepping up on both sides of the ball. So, we're going in the right direction. We just got to put it all together. Yeah, and it's one of the things that you like to focus on, obviously, is the defense. And the offensive plays always get in the paper and get all the love, but sometimes it's the defense and can help you stay in games and win games essentially. Changing gears a little bit, getting ready to go into the game against Gloucester, new to the Colonial Conference, coming in 4-0. We're going into this game 0-4, but I don't think you can really look at the two strengths of schedules here and really say that this is an imbalanced game here. What do we know about Gloucester? What should we expect here tonight?
They have a couple tough running backs, 28-1. They're pretty tough kids. Just as a whole, they're tough. Their quarterback's a tough player. But again, there's just again the difference in schedule. You could say that, but they're a team that has confidence. So we have to understand that they're going to come in. You can always compare, and you can get it in your head that you should beat a team or how you match up with a team. You may say something, but in reality is who's more confident, who's going to show up that night. So it's just something we have to do. We have to put it together. Gloucester's
schedule so far: at Lindenwold, at Wildwood, home for Maple Shade, and home for Pittman. And they scored 50, 37, 20, and 42 points respectively. So a lot of focus going to be on the defense in this game for us?
Yeah, we just know we got to stop their run game. That's been our Achilles heel, is stopping the run, and they run the ball well. So that's something we got to do. That's at the end game. We have to do that.
Steve Burkhart is their big rusher, number 28 junior, 549 yards through 4 games. Pretty impressive for a junior playing in the backfield.
Yeah, he runs hard. And he's fast. So he's he's not too big, which works to our advantage. But he's a faster kid. He's definitely something we can't let him get going.
One of the great things about our sports broadcasting program, and when we're bringing this coaches show back to you, is some of the questions have been pouring in. And joined here by Henry Kern, who's a member of the sports broadcasting class. Henry, you got a question for Coach?
Yeah. So, Coach, what adjustments do you have to make this week defensively in order to slow down this good Gloucester offense?
Just be in the right spots. We usually have a guy or two out of their position or where they're supposed to be, taking the right angle. We have to do all that. We have to do those little things right to slow them down.
And talk a little bit more about how much the little things kind of compound and they kind of snowball. If you don't do the little things right, out of position by a foot and a half. Tell us a little bit more about how that.
And that goes to all the reps you have in the summer that we've missed. We say to both sides of the ball. You have 3 or 4 guys either we call it a loaf, not giving good effort, or a blown assignment. And when you have 3 or 4 every single play, you're not going to be successful, and that's kind of been our issue. So we have to correct those things. Everybody's got to be on the same page. Everybody's got to give us effort and do their job.
A couple more questions that have been coming in from our sports broadcasting team. Obviously, they couldn't be here, but we'll go to the first cut of one of the questions coming in from one of these students.
Hey, Coach, it's Deshaun Ponies here. I got a question to ask. After your tough loss last week against Seneca, what can you take away from that experience to prepare you for the game against Gloucester?
Yeah, Coach, what are some of the takeaways, like Deshaun said there, that you took away from the Seneca game? Even though it was a 41-24 loss, what are some of the things you took away that you can use for this coming week?
That we can compete with teams that are bigger and more mature than us. We're playing a lot of underclassmen, more than we've ever have, and that we can compete with those teams, and we just have to understand what it takes to win. Hopefully, we can learn those things and actually get a win.
One more came in from Jen, and it's a really, really interesting question. Really has nothing to do with Seneca or Gloucester, but Jen's got a really good question. Let's go to that question.
What challenges will the team encounter in facing a team that is out of their conference?
That was actually Sarah's clip, but we're going to go to you, Coach, on this one. And what are the challenges that you guys face as a team for the out of conference? You're facing a team that's now in conference, but you're not playing like the Haddonfields and West Efforts, but
they're
coming in brand new team to the conference, but.
For football, they're not in our division. Right. They're not in our conference. But just new. You're more familiar with teams, so the ins and outs as far as the coaching aspect. There's little things that are going on. When you face a new opponent, you're trying to figure all those things out, and you're trying to feel an opponent out, what style, what type of team they are. But we're familiar with this style of team.
All right, last question. This is the one I think we're trying to get to with
Hi, Coach Harris. I'm Jen Ventura from Sterling Overtime. I just had a question. What player do you see yourself into when you were playing in high school?
Great non-football related question in terms of Gloucester or Seneca. What player on this team do you kind of see yourself as you as a player? Go harken back to your days. Is there a player on the team that you kind of see a little bit of yourself in?
Not nobody off the top of my head.
It's kind of I know it's a tough question.
It's a tricky question.
It's a tricky question.
Nobody specifically.
What kind of player were you in high school? Well, like if you could summarize yourself as how would you define yourself?
Just team player, do what coaches asked, what was needed of me. My senior year playing on a small team, we played almost every single position on the defense except for in the secondary. So just doing what the coaches asked, and just being a team player, working, just run sprints as hard as you can, lift weights, do all that stuff.
All right, that should do it, Coach. Any final thoughts as we get ready for Gloucester here?
Yeah, I just have something I want to read. I'm sorry. Pull this up.
A pretty important message you got for us.
Yes. Going into this, I know breast cancer awareness. The football team. We would like to acknowledge all of those in the Sterling community who are battling cancer or have family members battling cancer. We want you to know that we stand behind you. We support you in your fight against this awful disease. We would also like to take a minute, give special recognition to a Booster Club parent and survivor now fighting again, Mrs. Nicole Ruiz. And also she's a mother of our junior Ryan Ruiz. We would like to really let you know our thoughts and prayers are with you, fighting your fight. And again, we would like to let you know the whole team's behind you, the Sterling community is behind you, and we support you.
Absolutely great message there, and best of luck to Miss Ruiz and their family as they battle that. Henry, thank you again for joining us. As always, Coach, hopefully we can do this again next week, and good luck against Gloucester.
Awesome, thank you.
All right, for Henry Kern, Coach Harris, I'm Rob Strauss, Tad Kozaneski, Dan Fard producing this. Go Knights, game time, kickoff coming up shortly right here on Channel 19.